Coming up, a 46-year-old man died after a stabbing last night in South El Paso. Police are still investigating the incident, but they're asking for your help. What we know so far and how police say that you can help solve this crime. Then the Socorro Independent School District says it will be implementing Texas House Bill 1481 in classrooms this year, and that is the bill banning devices such as cell phones, smartwatches, and tablets during school hours. What the new guidelines will be for students moving forward. And the U.S. government announcing that gross domestic product grew by 3% in the second quarter. GDP measures whether the country's economy is growing or shrinking. We take a look at the newly released data. KTSM Plus starts right now.
You're watching KTSM 9 News First at 4. Starts right now.
Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for choosing KTSM Plus, our digital newscast. I'm Christina Rada in for Monica Cortez. Well, we begin with a developing story. A 46-year-old man has died after a stabbing in South El Paso. This is a story we've been following closely since this morning. Now, according to El Paso police, the incident happened at the 200 block of East 9th Street around 8:30 p.m. That happened last night. Details are still limited, but we are working to find out exactly what happened. Here is what we do know so far. Police say they responded to what they call an assault in progress involving two people. This was a look at the scene earlier this morning. When officers arrived, they found the man who had been stabbed. Police say he was taken to a hospital where he later died of his injuries. As of this afternoon, police are still investigating, and they're asking anyone with information on this incident to call Crime Stoppers of El Paso at the number that you see on your screen. As we first brought to you as breaking news at noon, Socorro ISD is notifying families of its updated policy on new repercussions if a student uses their phone or a smartwatch on campus this new school year. The district says violations of the new policy will result in disciplinary actions, which include confiscation of the device being held until a parent or guardian picks it up, or in-school suspension. Now, in a letter sent to parents and guardians, SISD outlines the implementation of Texas House 1481. It's a new law requiring all public schools in the state to ban the use of personal wireless communications devices during school while on school property. Under the new policy, students will not be able to use items such as phones, smartwatches, or headphones, or any other similar device. Students will be allowed to bring their devices to campus, but they must be turned off and stored away in backpacks or lockers. In the letter sent to parents obtained by KTSM, the district says, quote, "Our goal is for all students to receive a comprehensive and exceptional education to prepare them for future success," end quote. Now, to read more on this story and all of the day's top stories, head on over to KTSM.com. We're going to take a break now from our headlines. Our Small Town Spotlight series is back after a short hiatus, and we're excited to tell you more about Chihuahua's Pueblos Mágicos. That's actually Spanish for magic towns. There are 5 Pueblos Mágicos in total, and KTSM went exploring to find out exactly what makes them so, well, magical. The towns are Casas Grandes, Cril, Parral, Guachochi, and Batopilas. You can find out more about these towns during our live Small Town Spotlight newscast coming up tonight at 6. None of this would be possible without our Small Town Spotlight sponsor, Daniela Labonetti law firm. Our chief meteorologist, Robert Bettis, is at their offices right now in downtown El Paso with a first look at the forecast. Hey, Robert, what are you up to?
Well, Christina, it's been a while because this has been a more than active monsoon, but finally nature gives us a little break from the heavy rain threat. I looked at all the model data and I'm no longer nervous. You know, whenever I see a surge of tropical moisture over the borderland, I get nervous and I don't want to be out of the weather center if we face that threat of heavy rainfall. But it's very different today. It is 93 degrees right now at the International Airport. There's actually a little bit of cloud cover. I'm on Myrtle Street, and as you mentioned, these small town spotlights had to take a small hiatus due to safety and weather coverage, but we are back in business today. So let's go ahead and run through the small town spotlight checklist, shall we? Imitation aviators, check. 100% synthetic trousers that come out of the dryer wrinkle-free, check. Upgraded shoes because I'm going to be at our sponsor, the Labonati Law Firm, and I thought I'd wear at least one thing that was fancy, check. And the sponsor of the small town spotlights right here, 707 Myrtle, the Labonati Law Firm. I have been given unlimited and unprecedented use of their whiteboard so we can continue our investigation into my photographer, Tony Pena. I'm going to have your full forecast. We'll talk about triple-digit heat. We're going to meet all the attorneys. It's the most fun you'll ever have with attorneys. Trust me. All coming up in just a bit. Christina?
Robert, you're hilarious. You've got me laughing the entire time. But I think you're absolutely ready to do what you have to do. We're going to check back with you a little bit later. Let's take a look now at traffic through the text.cams. This is US 54 in McCombs, where there aren't very many vehicles and definitely no crashes or any other important things to report. We're going to take a look now at I-10 and Buena Vista, and you do see some vehicles in those directions. It is not 5 o'clock yet, so the evening commute hasn't hit yet, but when it does, it'll be much, much busier. More on the U.S. economy now. In today's Political Minute, News Nation's Blake Berman has some of the main takeaways from the government's new report.
A new read on the U.S. economy. I'm Blake Berman, host of The Hill on News Nation. The U.S. government announcing Wednesday that GDP grew by 3% in the second quarter. GDP, or gross domestic product, measures whether the country's economy is growing or shrinking. The data from April, May, and June reflects the first 3 months since the president's quote-unquote Liberation Day tariff announcement. Now, the government credits consumer spending and a sharp drop-off in imports for driving much of the growth. That means Americans were spending money, but the country was also bringing in fewer goods from other countries, both positive contributors to GDP. It comes after a negative GDP reading in the first quarter when it dropped by 0.5%. That was partly due to a surge of imported goods when companies front-loaded products in anticipation of the tariffs. Another key reading on the economy comes Friday with the jobs report. I'm Blake Berman, and this is the News Nation Political Minute.
An El Paso mother carrying her child across the street, struck by a driver that then left the scene. Difficult to watch, and all captured on video. Coming up, we go over your thoughts in today's In the Comments section. Then, as part of today's Small Town Spotlight, we visit the former home of the beloved late singer from Mexico, Juan Gabriel. You won't want to miss this. Thanks for watching KTSM 9 News First at 4, putting local first.
And you feel this is based on
Paulina, I can hear you. I was out getting the whiteboard. So if you can talk to me now. Oh, thank you. Okay. Oh. Okay. Okay, that sounds great. So you're gonna roll the package cold.
Well, a hit and run on a child's first day of school. Now police need your help identifying a driver that hit a mother carrying her child across the street on Monday. This is a story we first told you about yesterday. Now, it happened at the intersection of Manila and Pickerel near Parkland Pre-K. Now, the video is hard to watch. You first see the mother carrying her daughter on her way back from her first day of school. Oh, now while she holds an umbrella in her other hand, a vehicle begins to turn into the crosswalk. According to witnesses, the woman had the right of way, but upon impact, she knocks both the mother and daughter to the ground. Witnesses say that the driver slowly backed away and left that scene. We shared this video and story with you all through our social media pages, and a lot of you gave us your opinion. Many of you shocked by this incident. Now, over on Instagram, Rosa Vargas 371 wrote, "Poor lady and baby." That's absolutely true. Amazon_Grace commented, "Let's find this person, revoke their driver's license, and get the moms and baby girl a new car." Not a bad idea. And Miss Crossfire wrote, "So sad this mama had to go through this. Drivers need to be more aware of their surroundings, especially around crosswalks." Definitely terrible video to watch, a terrible incident that happened, but we are in contact with El Paso Police to find out the very latest on this story. Well, here at KTSM, we value your opinion and we want to hear more from you. Make sure you are following us on our social media platforms to keep in touch with us through the comments. Hearings are underway in Washington to investigate what caused a deadly mid-air crash in a January between a military helicopter and a passenger plane that left 67 people dead. Up next, we have the latest on the findings. You are watching KTSM Plus.
Yes, please. Don't let that disconnect, please. Yes, I can hear you perfectly. Thank you. All right, where's the
to wipe that?
Yes. Does he want some spray?
So, a minute 30.
A little spritz on there.
perfect. I kind of like the theme of it. Yeah. And I'll just.
I'm like looking at this side. I'm like, I wonder what's on the other side. Is it anything like what's on this side?
No, it's not that action.
Okay.
Oh.
So, let's see. So, Mark, shall I talk to you on this first one, or who would you like me to talk to?
I'm sorry?
Who would you like me to talk to?
45 It's up to you, honestly. I have no preference.
Okay, you can throw that out, please.
And then
Thank you.
starts straight with pack and then goes to your rubber.
Okay, so it's a pack for 60 seconds?
And then you.
Okay, all right.
And then it'll still be 3 minutes 30 for you.
Okay, well, I'm going to start out here with this, and then we're going to break to go to
your local weather authority, Robert Bettis, the Borderland's only certified broadcast meteorologist.
We have a special treat for you today. Arguably, Mexico's biggest recording star ever was Juan Gabriel. Though he was born in another part of Mexico, at 6 months old, he moved here to Juarez, which he loved very much. This is his home. Of course, Juan Gabriel passed away in 2016, but his beautiful mansion lives on as a museum that you can visit. Now, Juan Gabriel recorded 500 songs and wrote as many as 700 songs. He sold over 100 million copies and was an undisputed major musical success. And here in Juarez, his legacy lives on in this gorgeous museum that you can visit. Ah, boy, do I love going to Juarez. I think I go more frequently than any other talent at KTSM, and let me tell you, it is a treasure of a sister city with beautiful people, and we have a lot more coming up during our small town spotlight this very afternoon. These small town spotlights could not happen without our underwriter, Labinati Law Firm. And the Labinati Law Firm, headed by Daniela Labinati, have become really kind of close friends, and over the weeks this summer, we've learned a lot. Of course, we've learned a lot of things maybe we didn't want to learn. And what I'm talking about, of course, is my photographer, Tony Pina. And we have a segment called Should We Represent Ourselves? And over the weeks, we found out that Tony Pina drives a small imported car. Yeah, he looks like a rock star. The ladies love him. But he is also a very aggressive driver. Tony, what do you have to say for yourself?
I'm a perfect driver, and I don't drive a small VW Bug.
Well, the whiteboard says differently. Let's go ahead and take a look at the forecast, and then we're going to go inside where I will find out, should we represent ourselves or should we get a professional legal team? Here is your exclusive 9-day forecast. We're looking at a high temperature for tomorrow of 99 degrees. I'm keeping in a chance of isolated area storms, and if we get rain out of those storms, it will be quite brief. So I'm no longer nervous about the threat of heavy rainfall. However, things start to change on Friday. On Friday, we've got partly cloudy skies and a high temperature of 99. As we cruise into our weekend ahead, we'll be looking at a high of 101 degrees by Saturday, as hot as 103 by Sunday. By Monday, that high pressure dome truly explodes, and it's going to take us up into the extreme heat range. We're talking a high of 105 by Tuesday. The crescendo is Wednesday with a high of 106 and 105 on Thursday. Of course, then it starts to break down by the following Friday with the chance of thunder showers, and I believe that dome of high pressure will start to break down. Welcome, my friends. After all these weeks, I finally found out where the home office of my good friend and attorney, Daniela Labinati, is. And as you can see in this luxurious conference center where the ladies, hi ladies, have pulled out every imaginable stop for me. One, an entire bowl of delicious candy is waiting for me. Number two, not only do I not have to use my whiteboard, I've been given unlimited and unprecedented use of their whiteboard and their gigantic conference room. Coming up through the afternoon, we're going to meet the 5 attorneys who work for Daniela Labinati and the Labinati Law Firm. We're going to find out their specialty, and we're also going to ask the deep, probing legal question, should I represent myself? And I think we know the answer to that one, don't we, Tony? And more we're going to find out about you, aren't we? You stay with KTSM 9 News. Some kooky guy on the
Welcome back. Today is Small Town Spotlight, and we are highlighting the 5 magic towns of Chihuahua, Mexico. Right now, we want to talk about the former residence, though, of beloved Mexican music legend Juan Gabriel. In the heart of Juarez is the iconic attraction that millions now consider a cultural landmark. Take a look.
The project of the museum is a very long project. It wasn't made on a rush. He has been working on it for about 20 years. Last year, from 2024, finally it came to fruition and the museum opened its doors for the fans. We're starting seeing each day more and more people coming to the museum. The impact it had in just not Ciudad Juarez or Mexico, but in a lot of Latin America and international people.
I'm the biggest fan of Juan Gabriel. When I was a little girl, I was just watching the house and imagine Juan Gabriel walking here in his garden with his trees.
He was real close to the fans, to the people in Juarez. Usually when he was here at home, he usually walk up from this door and meet the fans right outside the house. It was his last wish. He wanted to rest in his home. Juarez was always his home, and he wanted to stay here. He knew where he came from, what the fans means to him. He was really grateful to the fans.
His person, his sensibility, he was a wonderful man, a wonderful human being.
Juan Gabriel was definitely a Mexican legend, but it was more than that. He was international. That does it for us here on KTSM Plus. Don't go anywhere. We have another half hour of news and weather coming up on KTSM 9 News First at 4. May I please have the rundown for the 4:30? Thank you. No wonder. Welcome back to KTSM 9 News. First at 4, I'm Christina Rada in for Monica Cortez. A stabbing in South El Paso leaves one man dead. According to authorities, the stabbing happened around 8:30 last night on East 9th Street. Now, that's not far from the Paso del Norte port of entry. So far, we know he was a 46-year-old man as the victim. He was transported to a local hospital where he died from his injuries. No one is in custody, but police did say it did involve 2 people. The stabbing is believed to be an isolated incident. Anyone with information is asked to call the Crime Stoppers number that you see on your screen. This is in case you missed it. Residents at a Northeast El Paso apartment complex, some who have been already evicted, are sharing concerns about the state of their units. Now, they allege that the complex's property management and landowners continually neglect pressing maintenance needs, creating dangerous living conditions, adding that when they try to speak up, they face retaliation. Our KTSM 9 News reporter Jesus Baltasar brings us more on their concerns.
Right is right and wrong is wrong. You know, if somebody's going to take on the responsibility of having a property and renting it out to people, then they actually need to follow the laws and keep it up to par.
Peterson alleges she was a victim of retaliatory eviction by the landlord of this apartment complex for trying to report plumbing issues.
Where I had feces coming up through the tub, a black nasty sludge that overfilled the tub and spilled into the bathroom area and then spilled into the bedroom area.
Another resident who still lives at the property sharing these images, highlighting other issues they allege go unattended for months or are just not taken care of at all. Broken windows, walls, and floors. Smoke alarms that don't work. Some even allege they go days without water and electricity, and allege that management will refuse to fix issues if tenants don't pay their rent.
They had no intentions of fixing anything, but they are here every first of the month collecting rent, and if we don't collect rent, they right away want to evict people.
And allege that management would often go back on their word and not reimburse them for the repairs.
They're draining their bank accounts, trying to keep these apartments. At the end of the day, their investment's not being made.
Despite their concerns, these tenants said finding a new place to live would be much harder than just enduring this.
They don't have the means, first of all, to be able to move out. They don't have the means to hire legal help, and they're taking advantage of low income.
Well, that was Jesus Baltasar reporting. The property manager did respond to the allegations, sharing in a statement that read in part, quote, "I take tenant concerns seriously and strongly disagree with the allegations being made. Many of the individuals making these claims are former tenants with former evictions due to non-payment of rent, in some cases exceeding 6 months," end quote. The statement goes on to read that management does not tolerate unsafe living conditions and that they respond to maintenance requests appropriately within legal timeframes. Over in New Mexico, it's been about a week since floodwaters swept through Vado, and recovery efforts are already underway with FEMA and Gadsden ISD today distributing food and supplies to families impacted. This week, Southern Baptist Disaster Relief volunteers are spending the entire week surveying homes across Vado. They say their goal is to gather information, assess what each property needs, and prepare to launch full-scale cleanup. FEMA and GISD joined in efforts helping those in need. Crews from Arizona, California, Texas, and Oklahoma are also joining in to help recovery efforts in Vado. Texas House Republicans released their first draft of redrawing congressional districts. Their proposal targets big cities in the state to create districts that lean more Republican. Now, the map, although not official, has created outrage throughout Texas Democrats. Dylan McKim shows us what this means for Texans.
Proposed map, my right foot is in District 10, which is a Republican-held seat, while my left foot is in District 37, a Democratic-held seat. That split runs along the border of the Capitol grounds, where map makers are surgically drawing these districts to get the outcome they want. The name of the game for Republicans is picking up 5 additional seats in Congress ahead of the midterm elections. The proposed map released on Wednesday shows how they plan to do that, targeting major cities.
Taking Democratic districts that are already safe and making them even safer, which then makes the neighboring Republican districts more Republican.
An example of this can be seen in Central Texas. Austin currently has 2 Democratic congressmen from District 35 and 37, but the proposed map looks to expand 37 and move 35 closer to San Antonio and South Texas, an area President Trump won by 10 points in 2024. The congressmen who currently represent those districts sounding off.
I think people in Central Texas should get to pick their representatives and should have the law followed.
I think Trump has taken a hatchet to Austin and to really the entire state in order to preserve his one-man rule.
There is a chance Texas Democrats could leave the state in an attempt to block redistricting. One thing is clear, any new map will likely face legal challenges.
The Voting Rights Act says you cannot specifically dilute minority voting strength. And by packing in voters, especially in urban areas, you're always going to run that risk.
The House Select Committee will meet on Friday at 10 a.m. here at the Capitol to talk about this proposed map. They'll also hear public testimony at that time. But it's important to note there is no virtual option, so if you want your voice heard, you will have to travel here in person on Friday. Reporting here on the Capitol grounds, I'm Dylan McKim.
We're going to take a break now from our headlines. Our Small Town Spotlight series is back after a short hiatus, and we're excited to tell you more about Chihuahua's Pueblos Mágicos, and that's Spanish for magic towns. Now, there are 5 Pueblos Mágicos in total, and KTSM went exploring to find out exactly what makes them so magical. The towns are Casas Grandes, Paquime, Parral, Huatcochi, and Pato Pilas. You can find out more about these towns during our live Small Town Spotlight newscast coming up at 6 tonight. Now, none of this would be possible without our Small Town Spotlight sponsor, Daniela Labinati Law Firm. Our chief meteorologist, Robert Bettis, is at their offices in downtown El Paso with a first look at the forecast. Hey, Robert, what are you up to now?
Christina, hello and back at you. I'm so excited that we're back in the saddle with our small town spotlights. We had to take a small reprieve thanks to Mother Nature and the thunder showers and this very active monsoon that we've had so far this year. Well, that monsoon, as I suspected, took a little hiatus this afternoon. We'll have a chance of some isolated hit or miss thunderstorms. If we get any rainfall at all out of those storms, it would be brief. I am no longer nervous. I have looked at all the model data, and we are not facing any kind of a threat of heavy rainfall. In fact, by the next few days and by the end of the weekend, we'll be begging to have that moisture back because we're going to move into a period of extreme heat, which I will talk about coming up in your main weather forecast. Of course, Daniela Labinati, the principal attorney of the Labinati Law Firm, has joined me several times on location and given me great legal advice. We have a segment here on KTSM called Should We Represent Ourselves? That, of course, is the legal question where myself and my photographer, Tony Pena, we get into some trouble. And should we represent ourselves in court, or should we find a team of professional attorneys? Well, coming up here today, live at the Labinati Law Firm on Myrtle Drive, not far from downtown, we're going to meet some of the attorneys. There are 5 total attorneys. Joining me is Stephen Lucy. Nice to see you. And also, we've got Omar Silva. Nice to see you, Omar. Gentlemen, well, I'm glad at least I wore my fancy shoes today. Now, at 5 o'clock, we're going to be talking with Daniela. She'll come over, correct? She's in a meeting right now?
Yes.
And we're going to paint for her a legal picture with my photographer, Tony Pena. I guess you've had a chance to meet Tony?
Yes, we have.
Do you have any initial impressions?
He's a great cameraman. He's a great cameraman.
Okay, we'll give you that. He is an excellent photographer.
Yes.
But what about his driving? Yeah, I think we're going to talk about that, and we're going to use the whiteboard coming up in just a little bit. Thank you, gentlemen. We'll have more to talk to you about your specialties when Daniela joins us at 5 o'clock. I'll have your full forecast coming up in just a little bit. Christina, we're continuing our legal investigations into our own photographers right here live. Back to you.
Well, I think you're in the right law firm to do that. We're going to go now to our D.C. newsroom. Transportation officials are questioning experts in D.C. about the deadly midair plane crash earlier this year that took the lives of 67 people. Well, today is the first of 3 days of investigative hearings to find out what exactly went wrong. Washington correspondent Maddie Brittenfeld reports on what they learned.
Just a remarkable human being.
That's how Gwen Duggins described her daughter, Kia. She was among the 67 victims of the January crash near D.C. when an Army helicopter collided midair with a passenger plane.
It's very tough to be here today, but I wouldn't miss it.
Duggins and other families who lost loved ones are attending the National Transportation Safety Board's public hearings investigating what went wrong.
We are here to improve safety. That is our sole focus.
The NTSB played new video of the collision. It shows the American Airlines flight on approach for landing, and the helicopter, called Pat 25,
appears from the left side of the screen, moving to the right as the two aircraft cross flight paths.
Investigators say the helicopter was flying higher than it should have been, leading to questions about the altitude data.
Investigators identified discrepancies related to the accident helicopter's altitude.
NTSB Chairwoman Jennifer Homendy says testing found the devices used to measure how high the helicopter was flying may have been off about 100 feet.
There is a possibility that what the crew saw was very different than what the true altitude was.
Homendy says another concern is the route the helicopter was flying, which is also under examination.
We don't know. We're going to look, but it's possible there was zero pilot error here.
The investigative hearings will continue through Friday. In Washington, I'm Maddie Biertemple.
Coming up, the Federal Reserve left its key short-term interest rate unchanged for the 5th time this year. We'll hear your opinion in our comments segment. Thank you so much for watching KTSM 9 News First at 4. We're putting local first.
your local weather authority, Robert Bettis, the Borderland's only certified broadcast meteorologist.
We're here in Juarez at the Museo de Juan Gabriel, Mexico's biggest star for music. This is kind of like Graceland in Nashville for Elvis. Juan Gabriel was a major star for Mexico. Joining me now is a tour guide here at the museum, Jesus Alejandro Reyes Nunez. Nice to see you,
Very nice
Jesus.
to meet you, Robert.
Okay, so where was Juan Gabriel born?
He was born in Parácuaro, Michoacán, and he was brought here to Juarez when he was 6 months old.
So this is his hometown, and he
Yeah.
loved Juarez. Oh my goodness.
Exactly.
Obviously, he was a big star here too. But
Yeah.
how did it all begin? What did his parents do?
Okay, so her mother worked cleaning houses, but they didn't have many opportunities in Michoacán, so they decided to come here to Ciudad Juarez to look for job opportunities.
And Juan Gabriel, how did he begin in music? How did it all start?
Okay, so he was staying in an institution where they were taking care of him, and he had this teacher, Juan. That's where he got his name, Juan Gabriel. He taught him about music and about life. And when he was 13 years old, he wrote his first song, La Muerte del Palomo, the death of the pigeon, something like that. And it is a very emotional song, actually, if you listen to it, for a 13-year-old to write. Yeah.
First song at 13 years
13
old.
years old, yeah.
So much more coming here at the museum.
Ah, yes, our small town spotlight, Pueblos Mágicos. And Juarez is such a wonderful city. I always love to go there, and it's always incredible to see the treasures that are hidden. Don't be afraid to go and visit because it's a wonderful place. Of course, these small town spotlights could not happen with now my close friend, Daniela Labinati, and her incredible law firm. Daniela, a pleasure to see you.
Good to see you again, Robert. It's been some time.
It has been some time. Of course, we had to put stuff on pause because of the thunder showers. Have you had quite a bit of rain at your house this year?
I have had, yes, a lot.
A stormy, and of course the bad side, the flooding in Ruidoso and in Vado and stuff like that. And you know, we're praying for those people to get better.
We've had some clients that were affected by it, so absolutely.
Truly, already affected by the weather.
Yes,
So
we've had clients in Ruidosa and other people whose houses were damaged as a result of the flood. So yes, we are all, everyone is in our thoughts and prayers.
well, that's wonderful. Okay, let me ask a little more about the clients in Ruidoso. Can you paint a hypothetical scenario of what happened? Of course, we all watched as the river rose 15 feet and began to flood whole homes away down the river. What kind of situation could be happening there legally?
Well, we had some clients that apparently were actually injured as a result of the flood because some actually facilities had not addressed the settings and the premises, even though they knew that there was issues with the flood before. And so we had a couple that was injured as a result of that, and we're looking at that possibility. And then we had some other clients that were not able to show up to court, and we had to cancel court because of how their family were affected. So yes.
When you say that you're a full-service law firm, you truly are. I mean, I didn't expect you to have tentacles going all the way up to those floods in Ruidoso. So I'm kind of glad we put the small town spotlights on pause for a little while.
Thank you.
Okay, I'm going to do the forecast, and then I'm going to bring in the whiteboard, and I think you know what that means.
I do know the whiteboard. And Tony. I do know Tony too.
Yes, my photographer, Tony Pena. Well, as Omar, one of your attorneys, pointed out, Tony Pena is an excellent photographer. I mean, we're all going to put that one in your category, okay, Tony?
An excellent driver too, right, Tony?
Yeah. We'll see about that. Okay, let's take a look at the forecast. Now, over the next 9 days, here's what you can expect. Tomorrow, 99 degrees. We'll have a chance of little isolated hit or miss thunderstorms, but that threat of very heavy rainfall has passed. The mid-level moisture is way down, and it thins out even further on Friday. High temperature, 99 degrees. And then as we cruise into the weekend, here come the triple digits. Fire up the misery meter. 101 by Saturday, 103 on Sunday. By Monday, 104, 105 Tuesday, and the crescendo Wednesday, 106. And of course, that will be extreme heat. Now, I know that we're going to be upgrading to one of your conference rooms, and I understand that we might even get to use the big conference room today. Is that right?
That is right. You're special. Special guest here.
I brought my whiteboard, but I know you have high technology in here. But we'll use it just to keep the theme going. Okay, let's recap a couple of things. Of course, we have Tony Pena. Excellent photographer, but remember when the stage collapsed and you gave us legal advice? Remember that?
Correct.
Okay, so maybe a little clumsy? What about the time that the giant pistachio blew 80 miles per hour and hit his small imported car?
Yes, we talked about an act of God that unfortunately that was not a case. And we told Tony Pena that.
Yeah.
He got excited.
That one, you're off the hook. And of course, a ladies' man, sometimes they're buying him drinks. Not a good idea.
Not a good idea, Tony. I hope that has stopped.
I believe it never really started. But you stay with KTSM 9 News, so we're going to really put Tony Pena, our photographer, on the wrap coming up in just a little bit. Christina, back to you. And of course, we'll answer all your legal questions. Christina?
I have so many, Robert. I don't know. The Federal Reserve left its key short-term interest rate unchanged for the 5th time this year, brushing off repeated calls from President Donald Trump for a cut. The choice to hold off on a rate cut will almost certainly result in further conflict between the Fed and the White House, as Trump has repeatedly demanded that the central bank reduce borrowing costs as part of his effort to assert control over one of the few remaining independent federal agencies. When the Fed cuts its rate, it often, but not always, results in lower borrowing costs for mortgages, auto loans, and credit cards. We shared this story to our social media accounts, and many of you had some thoughts that you wanted to share. Now, Miguel Castillo said we shouldn't have a Federal Reserve in the first place. Then the markets would dictate rates naturally, not artificially, to prop up the economy. Al Munoz, however, said, like any financial instrument, interest rates should change with market conditions. And as you saw, we had some varying opinions, but here at KTSM, we value your opinion and we want to hear more from you. So make sure you are following us on our social media platforms to keep in touch with us through your comments. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back after this break. KTSM 9 News, first at 4.
We're back now with Dr. Jorge Saenz, a pediatric critical care doctor over at Las Palmas Medical Center's pediatric unit. Dr. Saenz, let's talk about heat exhaustion and why kids are so susceptible to it.
Well, here in El Paso, at the high desert, children are more susceptible to have those kind of issues, especially during the summer. It's just exposure to heat is just much higher.
And as adults, what should we look out for in the kids in the community that might be suffering some heat exhaustion?
For our children, timing is a big thing, as far as, letting them play outside, not when it's so hot. But, if they have some signs and symptoms of severe heat exhaustion, could be like having headaches, vomiting, muscle cramps, lack of interest in doing things, decreased activity and so forth and so on.
And let's talk action. What should we do if we do find someone with heat exhaustion?
Try to cool them down immediately, give them fluids, get them away from the exposure, and call a medical provider.
Dr. Saenz, thank you very much. Of course, you can always visit LasPalmasDelSolHealthcare.com to find a provider near you.
Wellness Wednesday, sponsored by Las Palmas del Sol Healthcare.
I'm Christina Rada, and that is it for me. Don't go anywhere. We have KTSM 9 News at 5 coming up.
Hair and wardrobe provided by
And we're just days away from school starting, and these parents feel that their campus is here in South Central El Paso. What happened? Mike is good?
All right, have a good show. Thank you.
All right.
Thanks.
South Central.
You said Jay-Z and her daughter?
And Destiny's Child.
Yeah, that's her name, right?
Huh? Blue.
No, Blue. I mean.
Blue. Blue is her name.
And just tell him where do you want to meet, or you can come here and meet or whatever and get with him. Okay. And get him. Yeah, maybe have Patsy help you to get that information in Mark's office. Okay. Awesome.
Oh, okay. Thank you.
Okay, so here's what.
Yeah.
The main scenario for the 6 of them. And then we'll talk about it. I want it to be kind of human compelling.
Okay.
KTSM 9 News Now starts right now.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Estela Casas. Thanks for watching KTSM 9 News Now. El Paso ISD students return to class starting Monday. Parents and advocates for the Barrio Chamizal community and Bowie High School feeder pattern say their students continue to lack the resources they need to succeed in the classroom. KTSM 9 News reporter Jesus Baltasar is live in South Central El Paso, where parents, students, and educators gathered to discuss the historical challenges they say students from Bowie continue to face today. Jesus.
Estela, this public forum will be held here at the Chamizal Community Center, and it'll be starting shortly. Now, one of the issues they'll be addressing is that school starts in several days now, and parents here feel that their campuses are not equipped with the resources to function properly as students get back to school. They say this has been a historical issue that they hope El Paso ISD begins to address soon. Advocates from Familias Unidas say that over 300 young people who graduated from the Bowie High School feeder pattern, only 28 students are college ready or prepared to join the workforce. An issue they say is no accident, as they say Bowie has the highest concentration of students at risk of not graduating from school, who are learning English and are high needs. But they say El Paso ISD continues to neglect them by not providing adequate teachers, staff, or programs that can help address their unique challenges. And they're afraid come Monday, things will look the same.
I can tell you from experience that things haven't really changed much in terms of the treatment of the children. These prejudice attitudes that have been formulating not just in the campuses, but throughout the city of El Paso. Where are local leaders that advocate for higher education and for opportunities for the Hispanic population and minorities?
Villegas and Familias Unidas have been urging El Paso ISD to prepare for a spike in enrollment in South Central Paso and are making that call again today. Now adding that campuses from the Bowie feeder pattern from elementary to high school are overcrowded as it is. They estimate that at least 500 new students will join the campuses from a renovated apartment complex in the area. Now Villegas says that their ongoing protests and their public forums, these efforts like these are the start of a committee of parents that they hope El Paso ISD's Board of Trustees will acknowledge and communicate with to try and solve issues that they feel have been lacking here in South Central El Paso for years. Coming up at 6 and 10, you'll hear from El Paso ISD as well through a statement, and I'll have more on the public forum tonight at 10 p.m. For now, reporting from South Central El Paso, Jesus Baldassar, back to you.
Okay, Jesus, thank you for that live report. Well, it's been a hot, muggy day after last night's rain. Let's get a first check of the forecast. Chief Meteorologist Robert Bettis is joining us now live from the Labinati Law Firm. Hi, Robert.
Well, hi there, Estella. Yes, of course, I think we all know that it has been an active monsoon, widely scattered thunder showers, unfortunate flooding events up in Ruidoso, also in Vado and other parts of town, the northeast side as well. But it looks as though Mother Nature gave us a little break from the weather today, and therefore we're able to resume our small town spotlights. And today, of course, the Pueblos Mágicos of Mexico